You better say your prayers, you flea-bitten varmint. I'm a-gonna blow you to smithereens.
You do that and I'll kill you.
We are finally up here and running. As always with the Bullshit with Bob show.
A little bit of bullshit.
There's always bullshit beforehand. Such as this.
Yeah, actually pretty much covered everything, huh?
Oh, yeah. But I want to welcome everyone that's in the chat room right now. Thank you all for tuning in. This is the Bullshit with Bob show right here on Brutiful Metal Radio. And I have Michael Gonzalez of the band Viking, formerly of Dark Angel. And welcome to the show, Mike.
Thanks, Bob. It's good to be here. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
Oh, yes. Most of the... oh, hey there, Outcast. Nice to see you. DJ Deadboy, glad to see you back. This will be his first show back in quite a while. Welcome back, buddy. I'll hand it over to you as soon as I'm done. But as my regular listeners always know, there's a certain amount of glitchiness that happens prior to every interview for some reason. We don't know why, but, you know, technology is awesome.
It could have something to do with me also. I kind of have a dark cloud that hangs over my head. And if something can go wrong around me, it will.
Well, you know what, Mike? That makes two of us, because I'm a schlep rock myself.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
So we double whammied it, right? Oh, okay, Vix. Thanks for the update. She said Dead Boy show is going to be done before I finish. But he simulcasts. He's on a couple other radio stations at the same time. But it's good to see him back. Appreciate him. Now, Mike, I believe the first demo that Viking did was back in '86, wasn't it?
What, when the first album came out, when Viking basically came onto the scene?
Yeah.
Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah, I believe I saw that your first demo was out like in 1986.
Yeah, I think, well, that's before I was in the band, but yeah, I believe it was 85 or 86.
Right on.
That demo ended up leading them to finding a deal with Metal Blade Records.
And Metal Blade, I mean, that's nice.
Yeah, it is. And Metal Blade is now a huge label. Back then, actually, they were still, you know, a small fish. Same with the label with Dark Angel. The label with Dark Angel was on Combat. You know, it was independent with pretty major distribution, but it's still, the labels weren't as big as they are now. Although our label with Dark Angel no longer exists. I'm sure most people know that.
Right.
But yeah, that was way back in the beginning. I mean, I think Metal Blade had only existed at that time for maybe 3 years when they started with the Metal Massacres.
Yeah, that's in fact, the first Metal Massacre, that was the one that had, of course, Metallica on it, with that strange version of Hit the Lights. And who else was on that one? I believe it was Rat.
Rat, possibly. I think maybe it was Leatherwolf on that.
I believe so.
Yeah, that's so long ago. You know, I really haven't listened to that in a long time.
I used to have that on cassette, and I don't know where any of my cassettes are now.
I think I've still got a whole bunch of my cassettes somewhere up in the rafters in my garage. But nothing to play them on anymore.
Now, just to let the listeners out there know, we did play a couple tunes off your new album. We played 902 on Flight 182 by Viking, and also an Ideal Opportunity and part of By the Brundlefly, but we'll take a break about halfway through, and I'll play By the Brundlefly again, which is, as you was telling me, this is one that only...
It's almost a world premiere of it. I think the song was played once before on a previous interview that Ron Daniel had done, but it's never been available for streaming, and it's been the only time that it's ever been heard by anybody, so tonight it's kind of a special thing to hear again.
Well, there you go. We're going to play that one after a while. Again, you know, you won't catch us anywhere.
Unless you catch us live. Until the album comes out, anyway.
So, those of you in the chat room, those of y'all out there tuned in on the outside of chat, this will be the only chance you get to hear this song. So, no recordings either.
Yeah.
Also got a few other songs. Got Do or Die, Man of Straw, and White Death. And like I said, we'll play them later on in the show. Now, Mike, early on, what was it that, was there a band or a musician that made you want to become a metalhead?
You know, I can't, that's a tough question because I don't want to say I've always been attracted to heavy music because when I was a little kid, I had older brothers. Well, I have older brothers. I remember my older brother Ed used to listen to Black Sabbath, Master of Reality. When I was a little kid, the album actually scared me. You know, I just didn't want to hear it when he put it on. I'd leave the house, I'd leave the room. And then kind of after a while being forced to listen to it, I really started to get into it, and I really liked it. But you know, I guess that was kind of my early influences of getting into heavy music. But as far as actual musicians go and playing, you definitely have to be Steve Harris of Iron Maiden and Geddy Lee.
Oh, right on. I mean, Geddy.
I used to sit around at home with my dad and just listen to like Iron Maiden and Iron Maiden Killers and Rush Hemisphere and pretty much all the sit down and work out every single one, everything. You know, and there was just something about it that really attracted me to it. You know, it's just a whole new way of playing.
You know, Geddy, I mean, what can you say? I mean, all of Rush are just premier musicians and make such a huge sound for a three-piece.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I remember I got to see them in concert when they were on their Hemispheres tour. And that was my first real exposure to Rush. I was like, oh my God, this is just amazing. I was so blown away. I was like, I want to do that. You know? I want to do what they do.
My very first concert, when I grew up, my parents listened to nothing but country. And that's all I knew as far as music was country music. I didn't know there was anything else. And as fate would have it...
Bob. I'm sorry you had to go through that.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I'm just kidding.
I refuse to listen to country now, at all.
Yeah, I don't really care for it too much either. I appreciate it. I mean, I understand it. From the musical side of it, I appreciate the music and what goes into it, but it's just not for me. You know, I'm from the South, and there's a lot of rednecks out here, and you'll hear that crap just wide open on the stereo, and I'm like, oh wow, that would give me such a headache. Yeah, about 4 years ago, I moved from Los Angeles, and now I live in a small town in New Mexico. And I've never been exposed to country music like the way I have been now. It's just like, oh my God, I can't believe that people really are enjoying this and like this, you know? I don't get it. But to each his own, I guess. Yeah.
Well, you know, I got lucky, very fortunate that my best friend's older sister, I think, well, we were 9 at this time. It was back in '78, and my best friend's older sister and her boyfriend had won tickets to go see Kiss live. Well, she got stuck babysitting us and had to buy us tickets, and that's my first ever having anything to do with rock was seeing Kiss live in '78, full makeup and everything.
And, you know, that's funny you say that. My very first concert I ever went to was seeing Kiss.
Oh, right on.
They were doing the very first Kiss Alive tour.
Oh, wow.
I remember in the concert program it says, Watch for Destroyer coming soon. I think I must have been 10 or 12 years old. I guess I'm still my age now, but that was an amazing thing, too. I can say that was another influence that got me into wanting to play music, you know, and getting up playing shows and stuff.
You know, it freaked me out at first, but,
actually, you know, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but
oh, go ahead.
when I saw them, you know who was opening up for them was Montrose.
Oh, wow.
I mean, yeah, you don't see things like that anymore. That was back when the arena team or the big arena bands were just starting to break out like that, you know? And it was a great thing, a great time.
But, you know, seeing Gene Simmons up there spitting blood and blowing fire, and Ace's guitar, you know, smoking, I mean, that was a lot.
Oh, yeah.
That was a whole lot.
Or even seeing an elevator on stage.
Oh, yes.
Like, wow, that's the most amazing thing.
I mean, the stage show was just so larger than life. But,
yeah.
You know, after seeing that, you know, I got into Kiss, and my mom didn't like this. But you remember how, oh, hell, who was it? that used to do the buy 10 albums for a penny.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. They have advertisements in every magazine or whatever.
Yeah.
I can't think of the name of it, but
Columbia
I know what you're
House.
talking about.
It was Columbia House.
There you go, that's it, exactly.
That's who did that. And I ordered 10 Kiss albums. And I ordered everything from the very first one all the way up to, I think it was all the solo albums, everything up to Dynasty. And because Dynasty had just came out at this time when I got hold of one of these magazines, I ordered all of it. And oh, she threw a fit, sent them back, and that was the start of my rebellion. I started mowing yards in the neighborhood and saving up my money and buying, that's when I found Black Sabbath. And life just got better from there.
Yeah, it's a good thing. Yeah, I think I ordered one of those. I got hooked into one of those Columbia House things too, and then every month they'd send me some music that I'd never ordered and everything, and then they start wanting to bill me for stuff. I think I probably ended up blowing it off. My first credit experience when I was a kid. Yeah, I think I remember the cassettes or whatever I had ordered, they didn't seem like they were a nice quality product. It's almost as if they were bootlegs. If I'm not mistaken, they just weren't the same quality you buy as directly from the label.
Right.
Or something, they weren't as good as something you could go buy in a record store. It's just like the sound quality was kind of degraded. I don't know.
I think they got better with it over time, but yeah, I remember, back to my one of my cousins used to order quite a bit from Columbia House, and yeah, it was just the sound quality wasn't there.
Yeah.
It's funny, the guys in the chat room were making fun of Dynasty, the Kisco album. And yes, it was
Is that
Kiss.
the one that has disco song on it?
It had I Was Made for Loving You, that Kiss
Yeah,
disco tune, and oh yeah. Now, you said Getty pretty much was the one that made you pick up a bass and start playing, right?
Oh yeah, Geddy Lee, Steve Harris, definitely. Yeah, well, I gotta say, Phil Lynott too, or Lynott, since then was Dead Split on my all-time favorite band.
Steve Harris, man, he was just a beast on the bass.
Oh yeah, he came up with like a whole new approach to playing heavy music or heavy metal. Just that callum. I mean, it's an Iron Maiden trademark now, but back then when it first came out, it's like, oh my God, I can't believe what I'm hearing. This is just fantastic. It seemed to hit something inside that's like, yeah, this is great. I want to go outside and rip a tree out by the stumps listening to this.
Mm-hmm.
It's just.
Now he
Do you know who turned me on to Iron Maiden actually?
Say again?
A guy by the name of Dave Chandler, guitar player in St. Vitus.
Mm-hmm.
He turned me on to Iron Maiden. I remember being at a party at his house, and he said, "Man, you gotta check this out." Put it on. I was like, "Wow!" From that moment on, I was a huge Iron Maiden fan. I still am.
Oh yes, indeed. I mean, over the years, it was one of these deals where I never got a chance to see Maiden in their prime. It was they'd come to town, and either I had the money and didn't have a ride, or I had a ride and didn't have the money, or I had to work, or there was always something that came up. And it wasn't until I was stationed in Germany, and they played this festival called the Mannheim Metal Fest in Mannheim, Germany. This was back in 2000. They had just released Brave New World, and man, I went and caught that show, and wow, it was just a great day of metal in general. They had a lot of great bands that played before them. Slayer was on the bill, Motorhead. They had Dream Theater, Nashville Pussy, and but man, Maiden got up there and showed everybody how it's done. They put on a great show.
Let me ask you a question about Maiden.
Sure.
How do you feel about Yannick Gers? Do you think he's necessary in the band, or does he do it for you?
Yannick, I don't know. Ever since they got him in the band, when Adrian Smith quit, I just never felt like he was part of the band. Not in my mind, anyway, because I was always used to Dave and Adrian.
Yeah, same here. And I mean, now that they've got this three guitar thing, I can understand that it fills out a lot of stuff that they didn't. You know, it gives it a more sonic edge to it, but I don't think they need the guy. This is just my opinion. I don't want to piss anybody off, but I just don't think they need the guy. You know, they need to go back to the original.
Yeah, I think, you know, his songwriting kind of changed their sound quite a bit, too. Because they started getting a lot more proggy and melodic instead of heavy, the way they were, you know, especially, you know, like, what was that first album? I think it was No Prayer for the Dying was the first one he was on.
You know what? I'm really not too familiar with that album.
I believe it is.
There's got a few albums in the catalog that I never really listened to because the direction that they were going was just changing too much. They weren't as, I don't want to say heavy, they just weren't as technical, I guess, as their first couple of albums, first few albums.
But I don't know, Yannick just, I just don't think he fits the bill.
Yeah, didn't he also play guitar in Bruce Dickinson's other side project?
You talking about his
I think he was a guitar player in it, though. You know, that Lock Up Your Daughter song and everything. I think he played guitar on that. And I was wondering, did Bruce just bring him back in Iron, or keep him in Iron Maiden because they've got some sort of contract deal? Or are they just good buddies? I don't know.
I don't know. I know on Bruce Dickinson's last couple, actually, the last few solo albums, Yannick wasn't on that. Because Accident of Birth, he had Roy Z playing, and then on Chemical Wedding, he had Roy Z and Adrian Smith playing.
Wow.
So when Bruce...
I'm calling you Eddie Trunk. You know your trivia. You know your info.
Yeah, like I said, you know, I do a lot of reading, and my wife says too much. Oh, appreciate that. I was actually at the show. I don't know if you remember this. When Yannick fell off the stage and busted his head open, got a concussion.
Oh no, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, that's the show I was at, because they were doing their encore, and they were starting off with Number of the Beast. And what was really cool, you know, I mean, it wasn't cool that he fell off the stage. I don't want to wish that on anybody, but you know, it was cool. They were jamming, and you know, the pyro was going full blast, and it was right after Bruce did that big scream in the beginning part, right before they jump in that first verse. The lights went down after the pyro, and then you heard, you know, like a 2-year-old trying to play a guitar is what it sounded like. That's when Yannick fell. His guitar was still hot, and yeah, you know, Maiden came back on.
The show? Was he able to continue with the show?
They did. I mean, they rushed him to the hospital because he had busted his head open. He had fell off the stage and hit the barricade, and they rushed him off to the stage. And the rest of Maiden got back on, told us what happened, and they played 3 more tunes and called it a night. They were going to play, I think, 6 more. Actually, they cut it a little bit short. You know, rightfully so. I mean, they're worried about their buddy, and I don't blame them.
Yeah.
But they got out there, they restarted Number of the Beast, they played a few more after that, and then that was the end of the show. But that was actually the show I was at. That happened at Mannheim Metal Fest 2000. I was there.
Well, I'll have to look that up. I'd like to see that. Not because I'm going to get fun out of it, just like, you know, I'd really like to see how that went.
It's probably on YouTube somewhere.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm going to try and search for that later.
Now, I wanted to ask you, you know, we were talking before, you know, during all the glitchy section, that, you know, what was the scene like in back in Hollywood back in the 80s?
Well, it all depended on which side of the street you were on. I mean, there was obviously all these hair bands that were running the whole Las Vegas, or the Hollywood strip, that were running all the clubs. And then there was like a small group of really hardcore metalers that were all back into the tape trading and had their own little clique, you know. And I kind of came from a different scene because I was playing in a couple bands around town, and we were, I don't know how you would describe it. We were metal, but we weren't real heavy. I kind of like that power rock thing, you know.
Right.
I don't want to thought any names of previous bands, but kind of like a power rock thing. And so we kind of fit in on playing in the Hollywood scene. We could play with hair bands and stuff. We weren't really a hair band ourselves, but it's what you had to do if you wanted to actually play a gig anywhere. You had to deal with all that. I used to go to a lot of shows. I used to see Motley Crue all the time, and Steeler, and Rat, and Black and Blue, Warrant, you know, the Whiskey, the Roxy. And it was cool to go to those shows because there was just so many women there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's why we went. Because that's young girls, that's where they are, the hair band shows. But I never really got into the music or the bands, you know? I just thought, I don't want to be somebody who wears more makeup than my own girlfriend, you know? I don't get it. I mean, a lot of bands are really good at what they do. It's just not what I like. Not what I listen to.
I'm not a big hair metal fan either, and I don't get it.
I don't get it either. It's bubblegum rock, you know?
Now, I've got I guess it's a lady in chat named Kristen that wants me to ask.
I know Kristen.
She wants me to ask you about High Times and Slavin.
Oh, that's pretty cool, Kristen. Kristen, by the way, is my girlfriend.
Oh, right on.
You know, High Times and Slavin. Oh, well, High Times was like my first real band out of high school. And we were like a three-piece original band. And if you ask Kristen, she's going to sing. It was a hair metal band with makeup and everything. But that's only because she saw a couple pictures that we were kind of made up like that, but we didn't go out playing live shows looking like that. And Slavin was a band that came after High Times. We actually put out an EP, and I don't think it's available anywhere. There might be a song or two on YouTube, but we were like a power metal band in a way. Those were just some of my early bands, just cutting teeth with, you know? But the thing she's talking about really is the High Times thing. She's trying to make me look bad with talking about hair metal bands.
Now, I have someone else in here named Kurt that wants me to ask you about your experience with cops.
Oh, what's he talking about? I think I know what he's talking about. In foreign countries, possibly?
Someone else named Ron Daniel Erickson is asking about being imprisoned in Europe for weeks.
Ron, you're a dick. Yeah, that's a Dark Angel story. Our first time touring Europe, we were out with Nuclear Assault and Acid Rain, and tour was going really great. And we were in Germany, and we had a night off in the town of Erlangen.
I know where Erlangen is.
Are you familiar with it?
Oh, yes. Area? I was stationed in Bamberg.
Okay.
Which is about 30 kilometers north from Erlangen.
Yeah, and do a lot of GIs go to Erlangen to go drinking on weekends? Or on nights off?
Well, we went there a couple times for some shows. I think I went and watched Paradise Lost and, who else was it? I watched Paradise Lost and a few other bands. Manowar. I went and checked Manowar out in Erlangen.
That's another band I don't quite get, but that's another different story. You know, anyways, we were in Germany. We had a night off, so we decided to go out drinking. And, you know, just hitting local rock bars, so they can have a good time. And it was probably half the guys with Dark Angel, me and Eric, and I think Ron was with us. Yeah, Ron was with us. The guys from Nuclear Assault, the guys from Acid Rain, and our road crew, so we had a pretty big group. And we're having a good time at the bar, but we kept, not to sound like a dick or nothing, but we kept getting bothered by people coming up and wanting to hang out, and it's just standing there, you know? And we decided to let's go somewhere else, somewhere that's a little less off the path here, you know, and so we can just hang out with ourselves, you know? We're trying to relax here instead of dealing with people all night. And as we left this bar to go to another bar, which actually some GIs were taking us to, all these kids started following us out of the club. I mean, there must have been 20 or 30 of them that followed out on the street after us.
Wow.
They're walking on the street and they're following us. And I don't know why, maybe to impress us, I don't know, but they started climbing up on top of cars that are parallel parked along the street, you know? And they jump from one car to the next, all the way down the street, following us. And, you know, and a group of people over to us saying, man, this is crazy, we need to get away from this. So we ducked into a Burger King of all places. And, you know, had something to And out of everybody, they picked me up and said that I was one of the people who was jumping on cars. and I literally had absolutely nothing to do with it. Like, I tried my best to get away from it. And I come to find out later that out of the 8 of us who were arrested, I was the only one who was carrying a passport at the time. So they had a positive ID on me. And to this day, I think that they got one of these eyewitnesses that picked me out saying I jumped on cars. I think there was a setup to say that I did it. And so anyways, they let everybody go and they kept me. And I ended up spending 10 days in a maximum security prison in Nuremberg, Germany, the exact same building where they held those Nazi war trials.
Yeah.
And it cost me at that time 50,000 Deutschmarks to get released from Germany.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, my mom had to put a lien on her house to help me out. And, it was a nightmare. I missed the last 8 shows of the tour. And that Dan Milker from Nuclear Assault, I think, stood in for me for a few, so that I could go out and play like 3 or 4 songs. Now,
for those of you out there that don't know, Deutschmarks, your dollar amount would probably be what, about 22,000?
At that time, it was 32,000.
32,000.
$32,000.
I know. And, whenever I lived there, it was the mark rate was 1.8 mark. It was almost 2 for 1.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I don't know the math on the exact exchange rate, but at that time it was $32,000.
Wow.
Let alone all the red tape that my family on this there, here in the States had to go through to get that money transferred there. The American consulate couldn't do anything for me to get me out of jail. The only thing the American consulate could do for me was make sure I was being treated right according to the Geneva Conferences.
Wow.
And, yeah, it's been 10 days back from security prison with everybody who speaks German. I don't speak German, so they marked some kind of orders over the case. This man has no idea what's going on. Just follow everybody else and do what they're doing. It was really messed up.
Yeah.
And the reason they wanted so much money from me was to pay for all the damages to the cars. And if there was any money left over, they were supposed to give me it back. I never saw it done.
Oh,
and
man.
At that time, that was more money than I'd make in a whole year.
Right.
And it was a fiasco.
Yeah, those Germans, man, I tell you, the Polizei, which is the German police, they don't play.
Oh, I know they don't. They didn't treat me bad. I mean, I wasn't scared for my life or anything. It just sucked being in jail in a foreign country,
Mm-hmm.
That was a pretty scary time.
And
luckily, in fact, when I got out of jail, the moment I got out of jail, I was taken to a train station, dropped off on a train, and I had to figure out how to fly. I had to go from Nuremberg and get all the way into Frankfurt. From Frankfurt, I had to fly into London, and I caught my dad just as they were leaving to fly back home.
wow.
Yeah, I just barely made it.
Now, I got a friend of mine in chat named Buddy Cat, and she's asking, what year was this?
89?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 89, 90. It was our first European tour, so I want to say 1989.
Yeah, like I said, I was there from 96 to 01. I'm very familiar with the area you're talking about, too, in Nuremberg, because that's pretty near where the soccer stadium is.
I don't know. All I really remember about that, because when we arrived in Erlangen, we got there at nighttime, and I went to jail that same night. I never saw any part of it. But I do remember passing by the big field where Hitler had done his speeches, his political speeches, where he got everybody riled up.
Right.
I remember passing by that area and seeing that, and I saw that through a police van window. And that's about all I can tell you about.
Well, that little spot right there where they got a big monument and all that set up. That's right there next to that big soccer stadium. In fact, that stadium, they do a couple pretty large festivals every year. One of them's in the north, I think around Bremen or Bremerhaven, and that one's Rock am Park. No, that's Rock am Ring. The one in the south in Nuremberg is called Rock am Park. And every year I'd go to the concert there, and usually I'd drive and I'd crash out in the car right there in that big parking lot. And I didn't know at first that was where Hitler did all his big Nazi speeches, and until the second year I went, and I happened to see the monument in the daytime, because we'd park, haul ass down to the stadium to see the shows, and by the time I got back, I was 10 sheets to the wind. It was a wonder I even found my car.
Yeah, just like the night that I got arrested. I mean, we've been drinking, so we were all feeling pretty good, and we thought it was a joke. You know, we're going to jail. Haha, we're going to jail in Germany. We knew we didn't do anything wrong, so we figured we'd be getting out in an hour. No big deal.
Right.
But little did I know, I was in for a whammy there. They got me pretty good.
Now, talk to me.
Actually, part of my stipulation from paying all that money to them, I'm allowed to travel in Germany again. I have not been barred from the country. It's like, gee, thanks.
Well,
yeah.
that's awful nice of them. I guess they want you to come back and pay them another $30-something thousand, right?
Shit, no shit. All right, so what's my language? I just realized that. Or, do I need to watch my language?
Oh, no.
Okay.
I meant to tell you that from the beginning. We own the station, so, you know, words like fuck, shit, damn, hot damn, pussy, whatever, you know, let it fly.
No, I'm not really foul mouth, but occasionally a word slips out every now and then. Yeah, to quote Gene Hogan, he always used to say, profanity is the linguistic tool of the inarticulate. I thought it was kind of funny.
Man, I was supposed to meet Gene one evening. We, at the time, my wife and I were living in Las Vegas. That's where Buffy's from. And we had moved from Louisiana to Vegas after Hurricane Katrina came through. And had a friend of mine's band that plays in Vegas. I don't know, you may have heard of them. They're a thrash band called Avenger of Blood. And they're
familiar with them.
They're pretty good. They're starting to raise back up now. They've been pretty underground for quite a while. But they were playing a show at the Whiskey, and it was always been on my bucket list to go and see the Whiskey. And they were opening up for a band called Mastery.
I've heard of them.
And yeah, I mean, they're great. Their bass player was actually downrange in Iraq at the time. I think he was with the National Guard or the Army Reserve, and he got deployed out, and they had to go on tour. And they were playing, and man, I tell you, you know, I mean, the music was just intense. You could tell there wasn't bass there, but I mean, they ruled. Well, these guys had opened up for them, and after the show, we were going to hook up. My buddy plays drums for him, for Avenger of Blood. He was going to ride with me, and we were supposed to meet up at Denny's. Well, no one told us which Denny's to go to, so we went to the wrong one. Of course, you know, that Murphy's Law, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that Dark Cloud Game Grover.
Yeah. Schlep Rock hit again. Let's see. I got Kurt asking how you like your new Ampeg rig, and what are you going to be using on the road?
Well, I used to, when I was with Dark Angel, we had a deal with Randall amplifiers, and I don't want to knock Randall. They were great for the guitars. Guitars always had a crushing sound, but I was never happy with the bass rig. And that was when we played in the States. When we do Europe, I'd always use Hardkey and Gallagher. But now I'm really liking my Ampeg. I love it. Everything is zero on it. Use my little preamp, and I get any tone I want. It's just crushing.
Now, what kind of cab are you using? Was it the 810s?
What, with mine? Yeah, I have an Ampeg 810 SVT.
Man, that thing is loud.
Oh, yeah. I've got one now. I'm probably going to have a second one eventually, but I've got one now, and it'll handle anything. Now,
my old lady plays bass. Buffy does, and you probably remember this old rig. She's got a PV Mark IV bass head.
Yeah, I used to use one of those.
Well,
and those are fantastic amps.
Man, I tell you, it's been on the road with us, playing shows, and
yeah, they're little tanks, man. Those things are almost indestructible.
I've dropped it several times, and it's still, I mean, any PV, I mean, you could beat the shit out, well, at least the old ones, you could beat the shit out of them, they still work, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And,
yeah, does she have a matching PV cabinet with it, or?
Oh, no, she's running through a SWR Working Pro. It's got...
Working Men's Pro?
Yeah, and, man, I tell you, that thing, she puts me and my other guitar player had full stacks, and I was running a MOSFET Lead 100 head through two 412 cabinets. My other guitar player had a Jens bin, same thing, full stack, and we're like on 9, and her cab she had set on like I think it was 2.5, and oh man, that thing is loud as hell. And it was funny. We were rehearsing one night, and I guess she was outside of the throw zone. She couldn't really hear it, so she goes over to her amp and she cranks it up like on 6.
Oh God.
Oh yes, I mean, it went right to the center of your brain. Like, turn that shit down. I can't hear it. Stand right over here. Oh, my bad.
Yeah, I get told that a lot too. Turn it down. Just today at rehearsal, I was told several times, turn it down. Can you turn it down? Cut my head off with that, Sorry, man. It just sounds right sweetie.
That little cab, man, I'll tell you, that whole rig kicks. But those amp pegs, man, they get such a great tone.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And you could dial them in really nice.
It's also the standard in the industry, basically, everybody uses them, and there's a reason why, because it's just that good. It works. It's just like people have Marshalls or Masons. They're just industry standards.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why, because they're good and dependable.
I tell you, those amp pegs, man, they take a pretty good beating, too.
Oh, yeah.
My old bass player, he's got one of those. Pretty much same setup you're talking about. And that thing is pretty thunderous, but the tone you can achieve on it, man, it's just, I don't know, I can't say enough good things about the tone. It's just, it's a very warm, thick tone.
Yeah, you can pretty much get anything you want out of them. The only drawback to amp pegs or tube amplifiers, especially in bass rigs, is the weight. Oh my God! Like my speaker cabinet alone, what's the weight? Like 115 pounds or whatever, 120 pounds, and it's the size of a refrigerator. Taking the ass to move, and it's just that hassle, but it's still like a tank, man. You can drop that thing out the back of your car, out of your truck, whatever. It's still gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
Same goes for the heads, like an SVT head, man. I don't know if you tried to pick one of those up, but for such a small thing, you'd think it was made out of lead.
I got a friend of mine that had one of those old bass cubes, and I don't remember who made it, what brand it was. I just remember it was a big square box. And man, that thing was heavy.
Yeah, I mean, even with technology and everything, they're making small amps sound great. You don't need, I don't know if you've noticed, I've been to shows lately, a lot of times you go see bands, they don't have walls of Marshalls or 15 cabinets on each side, unless you're going to go see Slayer or somebody, but a lot of times you go up there with half stacks, and that's all they need, because the technology is there, you can get the sound you need out of them. Well, I mean, even back with Dark Angel, we had a pretty big backline, but guitar players were only running through half stacks. We may have had 9 guitar cabinets on each side of the stage, but they're only running through a half stack. Maybe 2 cabinets, depending on where we are, if they're trying to get the sound pressure on stage, but
well, no, a lot of times, guys, guitar players now are using, the combos, like 212s, and then they have all the dummy stacks behind them.
Exactly. Or what they'll do is they've got dummy stacks and they've got their half stack or they're running through in an isolation box off on the side of the stage you don't even see.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just basically relying on monitors for their sound on stage, and they're getting a crushing tone out in the house.
I've got Kurt in the chat room is asking, Mike, do you have any pre-show rituals?
Not really. Just definitely warming up a good 45 minutes to an hour before we go on, stretching the neck so I don't get a hangover the next morning, getting whiplash. And, I don't know, rituals. Making sure I shake everybody's hand in the band before we go on stage. That's probably it.
Now, Chris...
nothing weird, I'm not, praying to Almighty Buddha or something before I go up there, sitting in a room 90 meditating with candles, something like that.
Or eating like 30 brown M&Ms.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, nothing like that. Just the usual.
I've got, Kristen is asking, she wants me to ask you about the Dark Angel Viking connection.
Ooh, that goes way back. Viking was like our brother band back in the day. They used to play a lot of shows with us. Anytime we were playing at home, they were there. They played with us. We always brought them in with us because we came from the same areas. We were same style of music. It was like a brother that we, in fact, even used to rehearse in the same studio. He used to be right across the hall from us, so we'd always be hanging out with him and they would be hanging out with us. It was really cool. And, I mean, we all became really good friends and stuff. Then, Dark Angel was out on a tour doing a U.S. tour. I think we're out with Death.
Mm-hmm.
And, our guitar player, I'm not going to name him, but he suddenly left us on the road. We played a show in Boston, and after the show, apparently, he went out to the bus or RV or van, whatever we were in, got his gear, took a taxi, went to the airport, and flew home, and didn't say a word to any of us.
Wow.
He just left us hanging on the road. Not only that, it scared the shit out of us because we didn't know where he was. Man, we're in Boston. What else can we let us down? Maybe he got kidnapped. Maybe he got ran over. He could be in a ditch somewhere. You know, get his butt fucked. I don't know, but anyway, that really put us in a bind. We found out the next morning when it happened. He was having personal problems, I guess, with his wife, and flew home to take care of that. And he just didn't have the nerve to tell us about it. So anyways, we placed the call to Viking with our guitar player, Brett, because him and Gene had become really good friends, and I think, I could be wrong, but I think Brett was actually going out with Gene's sister at that time. And called Brett and said, hey, man, we need you on the road. Can you come fill in for us? And Brett was out there the next day. And he ended up finishing up tour with us, you know, and we kind of swept him from Viking. We weren't keeping him, we were just sweating him for that tour. And when he came back, I guess he ended up staying with the band. I'm not sure exactly what happened in the Viking camp, if they told it or what was going on, but he ended up staying in the band, replacing the particular guitar player that I just told you about leaving. And it's pretty much where our background is and how it ties in together. And then the way I hooked up with Viking, I think it was last year. I mean, I stay in contact with Gene fairly often. And I was on my way to go see Anthrax, Testament, and Death Angel in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And I shot a text to Gene and said, hey, Gene, I'm on my way to go see Testament tonight. Today I'm going to miss you because on that portion of the tour, Gene wasn't playing drums for Testament. A guy by the name of John Tempesta was. He's another friend of mine. And I was just on Gene, I'm going to go see Testament with John, you know, so I'm going to miss you. And he says to me, he said, hey, man, guess what I am? I'm like, well, what's up? He goes, I'm here with Ron Daniel and we're recording a new Viking album. It's like, wow, really? That's fantastic. I didn't even know the Viking was back together again. And apparently him and Ron had been putting this whole thing together and getting ready to release it, or getting ready to, you know, do this whole album and unleash Viking around the world again. And I thought it was really great, you know, because this whole time in the back of my mind was, wow, I wonder who's playing bass for them. A few days later, I get a call from Ron Daniel. And he said, hey, man, how you doing? Do you want to come out and release some tracks on this new album that we just did that we're doing? I'm like, hell yeah, I do. So I sent out and recorded this new album and became a member of the band. And like I said, now we're ready to release it on the world.
Now, I've got Outcast that's asking, wants me to ask you about one sick fucker named Don Doty, original Dark Angel vocalist.
What you want to know about him?
That's what I'm wondering. He wanted me to ask you about him.
Yeah, I haven't talked to Don in probably 20 years.
Wow.
When I joined Dark Angel, he was in the band. He was great. I loved Don. We were good friends, hung out and stuff. But he had a problem with being dedicated to the band. He had too many other things going on in his life that were kind of getting in the way of his priorities for the band. I mean, we went out and did like a mini tour in Texas. I think it was with Devastation and Living Corpse, possibly. And the plan was the whole band was going to drive out to Texas. Don was going to fly out and meet us because apparently his work wouldn't let him get the time off, so he was going to fly out and meet us to do this tour. So we all got out there, And then Don never shows up. Left us hanging. So we did like 4 or 5 shows around Texas with Gene Hoglan actually singing, sitting behind the drum kit and singing, which is kind of weird. And after that, I came back, you know, he just let Don about it, and he just let us know that his heart wasn't in it anymore. He didn't want to do it. So we put the search out, find a new singer, and we ended up with Ron Reinhardt, who ended up being a fantastic singer. I mean, I know a lot of people have their own opinions about the two different Dark Angels, the Don Doty era and the Ron Reinhardt era. But I can tell you, I mean, Don was great. For the Darkness is His, he took performance on it, which is awesome. But Ron was the man for us. He was dedicated, and on stage, the guy was a maniac. His voice was fit exactly what we were doing. Great. I mean, I don't know if you're familiar with the lyrics in Dark Angel, but there's, you know, the song to figure that shit out. And Don was able to actually enunciate all that stuff, pronounce it, and get it out there. And that alone was, you know, a talent in itself.
Mm-hmm. Now, what
I
Outkast...
can say about Don Doty, though. Like, one time we were playing at Thunder's Ballers in Long Beach. Pretty sure Viking was probably playing with us. And they had this kind of, not really low ceiling, but they had rafters that were kind of low. They came straight over the stage. And during the set, Don Doty climbed up on the rafters and went out over the crowd. And he was going to do like a dive into the crowd.
Wow.
Well, he didn't dive, but it turned out to be like a Moses dive. He parted the sea. When he jumped out there, the crowd parted and he hit the floor. This other thing what happened, so we just saw him drop from the rafter and disappear. He came back up on stage a few minutes later, he had blood dripping down his head, he's holding a rag on his head. He was forgetting words there, and we ended up having to cut the set short and taking him to the hospital. So, I mean, like, he was definitely a maniac, too. And I gotta say, out of the two singers, though, Ron was probably my favorite.
Now, what Outkast was asking was he saw some old videos, and he said Don was just a crazy fucker on stage.
Yeah, he was. Like I just said, diving from the rafters and hitting the floor. Yeah, he was. It's pretty crazy.
Wow. You know...
But I'll tell you also, I mean, I'm not trying to choose. I've already said who I preferred a little more. You know, I preferred Ron. Ron was pretty damn crazy, too, on stage. He knew how to handle the crowd. In fact, here's another story about Ron. Same tour in Europe. Wasn't that same tour that I went to dinner, or maybe it was afterwards. We were in Germany again, and, you know, none of us could speak language, really. And me and Eric were talking to these girls before our set, and we were trying to, you know, have them teach us some good phrases to say in German to the crowd so we could, you know, associate with them more, you know,
right.
Build up a connection with them. And they were teaching us different phrases, and we were going to teach them to our singer to say. So what we did was, we had them tell us, or teach us how to say, I am an asshole, and I ride upon a watermelon. And we told our singer, Ron, that he was saying, Germany, I love you guys are great, blah, 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 blah. So we taught him to say this, he had no idea what he was really saying. So every time between the songs he said it, the crowd would just go dead. Look at it, and we were just busting up. It was the funniest thing ever. Can you imagine? There's this brass band on stage, and they're just all mean and ugly, and this guy saying, "What's an asshole?" And I ride up on the watermelon. People were just looking at him, scratching their heads.
Yeah, I'm sure the crowd was like, "What the fuck is up with this?"
Exactly.
Now, let me ask you, Mike, what was one of the craziest shows that you ever did with Dark Angel? I know there's probably thousands and thousands of them, but was there one in particular that really stands out?
But one that stand out, I think one that we did our first time in New York City, playing, I want to say Rock Hotel or whatever it was. I'm not sure. We were opening for Motorhead and the Cro-Mags, and the New York crowd was just insane. You know, I mean, pits galore. And when there were stage divers, it was our first time seeing people actually catch them and bounce them around and make sure nobody got hurt and people were having fun. You know, because I don't know if you're familiar with the LA hard metal scene, thrash scene. There were certain things that would go on in the crowd that were dangerous, and there would be how do I say it without offending anybody? Okay, stop it. Suicidals. You know, the guys all Don't get me wrong, I love Suicidal Tendencies. They're a great band, but their following in LA was just vicious. They go out in the pit to start fights. They were like kind of like a gang, you know. And so for us to see, you know, back in New York, for us to see a crowd actually having a good time and taking care of each other, it was like the most amazing thing ever to us. And then again, back to LA, we had some pretty amazing shows in LA. Like, I remember one time we were playing at the Palladium opening up for Slayer. And, I mean, it was just huge. You know, pits everywhere. Just everyone just going ape shit. And, I remember at the end of the set, I put down my guitar and I dove into the crowd. And I started beach balling around the crowd. Next thing I know, the lights are going on, the band's off the stage, and I'm still beach balling around the crowd, trying to get back into the stage so I could go, you know, change clothes and dry up. Yeah, that was one of the insane shows. Another time, first show in Europe, I think we were playing in Wales, I want to say at, oh God, I can't think of the name of the city in Wales. But, I was seeing people doing PA dives. That was one of the most insane things I had ever seen. People climbing up to a top of a PA that's got to be 15, 20 feet high and then diving into the crowd.
Wow.
Yeah, that's just suicide.
That's nuts.
Yeah, it is. Me and Eric Meyer, we used to compare our guitars. We could see who had the most blood splatters on their guitars after a show. So, I mean, you see people, there's a barricade, people would, like, say, 4 guys would grab one of their friends by his arm and his legs, swing him, just toss him over the barricade. So these guys from flying over the barricade, they're still 6 feet before the stage. So they get to the edge of the stage, and you see broken bones, blood from flying, that's all kinds of shit. We just see who had the most blood on their guitars after a show. Things like that, yeah, that's pretty insane. Yeah, and you don't see shit like that now, I mean, because there's so much security and stuff.
Right.
Liability issues. But
Yeah.
I guess back then it was a matter of people, you know, promoters or venues not knowing what they're about to have in their place, you know. And I guess it's something they learned at the time, but we've got to put a stop to people getting hurt out here, lawsuits and everything, which I can understand. But yeah, there were some really crazy times.
Now, let's see. Well, we still got a little bit of time before we slap some music on.
Okay.
Outcast asked, mentors even once or twice joining the bill, or no?
Who?
Mentors?
Mentors? They never played with us that I recall. I remember seeing them a few shows of them playing around LA, but I don't recall them ever being on the bill with us. But that doesn't mean it didn't happen. You know, we're talking April, that was 20 years ago, and I'm old and senile, so I can't tell you, I don't remember.
Now, Mike, you said you've gotten back into metal and are starting to listen to some of the bands that are out now. What are a couple of the bands that you really like nowadays?
You know, I really like Shadows Fall. I think they're a great band. They're great players. You know, it's really hard for me to just name bands I like because there's so many, and I'm kind of strange. I guess I kind of have eclectic tastes when it comes to music because I can listen to just about anything that's heavy music as long as it's not really, really cheesy.
Right.
Yeah, as far as heavy music, I like Shadows Fall. I like Fear Factory. Don't have a whole lot to say about their vocals, but I do like Fear Factory. I like Sugar. I like... Oh, God, what's in my CD player right now in my truck? I can't think. I don't know. I like the early All That Remain stuff. You know, and I realize these bands, I mean, that aren't really thrash. I like all kinds of heavy music, you know. I don't listen to just one kind of music because...
I'll tell you one that you need to check out. Have you heard Zetro's new band, Hatriot?
No, I haven't heard them yet.
Oh, dude. That's an album that you need to get.
Really?
I got the chance a few months back to speak to Zetro before the album dropped. And had him on the air here on the show. And
you know, I was at his wedding. When he got married, I was there at his wedding.
Oh, right on. Really cool guy, man. I mean, he is so down to earth. genuine, just a
Oh yeah, he's a really good guy.
really nice guy. In fact, we were laughing during the interview about we're getting on up there in age and everything, and we were laughing about our little rascals. We were going to have leather and spiked little rascals. When we get old, with built-in stereo systems.
Yep.
But if you get a chance, man, definitely check out that Hatred, because it is really good stuff.
Didn't it just recently drop? I mean, just came out, didn't it?
About a month ago. I think it dropped last month on the 27th, I believe, is when it dropped. And
Okay.
man, I tell you what, it's the best Zetro's voice has ever heard, in my opinion. And he's got his two sons playing in the band. He's got let's see, I think it's Nick is on bass, and I don't remember the younger son's name, but he is on drums. And that kid is an absolute beast on that drum kit.
Wow. Yeah, I really have to check that out.
And it was really cool.
I love Whiskey's voice. He's got a unique sound to him. He's really good. I loved him in Exodus. I even liked him when he was with the Legacy.
Now this,
Legacy,
Hatred to me is like Exodus plus. I think it's better than Exodus.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Like
whenever I think of Steve, the song that comes to mind automatically is Toxic Waltz. And that's classic Steve Zetro right there.
Yes, it is. And, I actually got the chance because, Cajun Hell, being where I'm from, we're, a bunch of crazy Cajuns down here. I actually got the chance to ask him how he developed Cajun Hell, which is kind of like our battle song down here, so to speak, And it was really cool, man. He told me, they were down in South Louisiana, like around Houma somewhere, which is really, really Cajun. And, they were eating at a restaurant, and everyone was like real to themselves, And he said he really dug the vibe of that, how outsiders really weren't welcome, and he mixed that with that movie that came out, Southern Comfort.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember that show. It was about a bunch of National Guardsmen going down to the swamps in South Louisiana and messing with some Cajuns, and the Cajuns take them all out.
I think I vaguely do remember that.
Yeah, it was. I think that was early '80s when that movie come out. It was about like the same time as the first Rambo and all that.
Okay.
But
I think I remember that.
But it was like
I don't know, my memory escapes me sometimes.
It was like the National Guards guys. They didn't have any ammunition or real ammunition for their weapons. All they had was blanks. And what started everything was they stole some boats. And from the Cajuns and started firing on them. Well, the Cajuns fired back, but they had real bullets, and they took out everybody throughout the movie. It was like they were tracking them down and stuff like that, and it was just a crazy movie.
Wow.
Now let's get back on to Viking. I agree, Angelo. More Dark Angel and Viking. Okay, we went on a tangent. This is the Bullshit with Bob show. We're going to bullshit. That's what it's all about.
We're just talking here.
And y'all out there in listener land are just lucky enough to listen in.
Well, tell Angelo I'll take him next week in New York. I know who he is.
Viking, you guys are about to drop a CD?
Yes, well, actually, we've been about to drop a CD for the last year, but I think we've finally got nailed it down to when it's going to come out. It's either going to come out in late April or early May. We've taken our time to get it out. We've been bouncing around the idea of signing with a label because, the promotion and everything that it could help. But after weighing all the alternatives, we've decided that we're going to do it as self-release.
Right on.
It will be available on Amazon, iTunes, all the usual places. You can order directly from us in our merch store. And, it's going to come out late April, early May. And it should coincide with another mini tour run that we're going to do right at that time. I think, let's see, what we got? We're doing, could be wrong, but I think we're doing Cleveland, Ohio, Lansing, Michigan, and in Chicago. We're doing a festival on May 4th called Ragnarocker. Mm-hmm. And we're trying to tie it in with that. we're not going to have an actual album release party or gig, but we're just going to try and tie it in with that little run, and hopefully everyone's going to dig it. I know I do. I know everyone that I've played it for really likes it.
Man, what I've heard, I like so far. I'll tell you that. Now, when you guys...
Kind of to blow my own horn here, I'm really, really happy with the bass tone I got on this album. It's amazing. It really is. Out of all the recordings I've ever done, Dark Angel, previous bands, nothing has ever came out sounding this good. Not like this. This is just amazing.
Now, let us know, when y'all get ready to go on tour. Drop us a line, let us know, and we'll start pushing that through the radio here. And
we're going on tour next week.
Really?
Yes, we are. We're going to be on the East Coast, well, the Northeast. We're going to, let me think of dates. I think we're playing March 5th in Albany at a place called Bogies.
Mm-hmm.
March 6th will be in Worcester, Massachusetts, and I'm not sure the name of the venue. I want to say it's Vernon Hotel, Horizon Hotel, I don't know. Then March 8th, we're in Philadelphia with Blood Feast at a place called Kung Fu Necktie. And March 9th, we're in Brooklyn, New York at the St. Vitus Bar. We're playing a festival called Childhood Heroes, kind of a strange name for a festival, but what is it, 80s Childhood Heroes. We're playing with Hellstar,
Ooh.
Attacker, Wrath, and my good friend Heretic. And we're really looking forward to that show. It should be pretty good.
No.
And these are actually our first shows together as this band.
Awesome.
And so that we're doing a lot of preparations now. So we're going to be ready.
I tell you what, I hope you guys bring it down south here, because I would love to see you guys live. And Kristen, I have to agree with you. I'm a Hellstar and Attacker fan myself. In fact, I constantly wear out Hellstar's Nosferatu album. Love them.
Yeah, I don't really get a chance, or I don't listen to a lot of music from bands or, underground bands. I should more often, but I don't. But recently I've been listening to Attacker, and I really like Attacker. They're very Iron Ignition.
Oh, they're great. In fact, I'll be talking to Attacker, when is it, next week or week following? I'll be having them on the show here.
Awesome.
Oh, yes.
Tell them I said hi.
Oh, I will definitely, and I'll get some show recaps from them, too.
Oh, yeah. It's cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing with those guys.
Oh, thanks, Vix. Yeah.
I'm playing with my good friend Heretic. I grew up in they're from the same neighborhood I'm from in L.A. We've all known each other pretty much all our lives, so it should be a really good time.
Right on. Now, Vix just posted up, we're going to have that March 13th here with Attacker.
I'm sorry? You kind of broke up a little bit. I didn't catch what you said.
Sorry, we're going to have Attacker on the show on March 13th.
Okay, great.
So, yes.
March 13th, that'll be right after we're done playing with them. Cool.
So, oh, yes, I'll find out all the good info they got. But, man, I tell you, I really hope you guys, bring it down south here, like New Orleans somewhere. I would love to go see you guys.
That's a real possibility. I mean, everything's just starting to snowball right now. Things are starting to take off for us. We're booking dates. I know in end of July, early August, we're going to be going southwest, Midwest, and I know we've got Texas dates that we're booking. And we're trying to get a set of the lines where we're going to hit Texas, Louisiana, and work our way up towards St. Louis, possibly Tennessee,
right?
Tennessee. And I mean, we've got dates that are being bounced around, but I can't give you anything because it's not confirmed yet. But
right.
There's a real good chance we're going to be down your way.
I'll tell you, if you guys come down here, we will be there.
And we're also going to be hitting Florida. We've got dates that are being booked now for Florida, and we're also working on the West Coast, San Diego, LA, San Francisco, and possibly out up further, possibly Oregon and Seattle.
Now, if you guys get anything in Vegas, there's a couple different promoters there. Both of them are awesome. One of them is Josh Fig, who runs Figzilla Music, and another one is Deborah Roca, who runs Vegas Star Bookings, and both of them are great.
Cool. Yeah, I've played a lot of shows around the country, but I've never played in Las Vegas.
Well,
I mean, Archangel had played there before I was in band, but I personally have never, ever played there. In fact, I think the very last time I was even in Las Vegas was with the bass player from Heretic, Angelo. We went there on a drunken spree one night.
I tell you, Vegas is awesome, man. It's a great city.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure Shane was last there.
Oh.
I've got a lot of friends there, too.
Right on. Angelo said he's a big fan of Avenger of Blood. That's 2 horns up to you, buddy. 2 horns up to you. Shannon, the drummer, is a great friend of mine. In fact, when we had our band out in Vegas, he was our manager. Really cool guy. And here's a funny story. Shannon had flew out to, I'm trying to remember where it was. I think it was one of the Dakotas. They were running the Heathen Crusade Festival out there. And we were picking him up from the airport. He had called us and asked, we could pick him up. And sure, we went to McCarran, and which is the airport there. And went to go pick him up, and we're waiting on him in the baggage area. And who walks by? But Vinnie Paul from Pantera.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, I mean, you never know. I mean, it's Vegas. You never know who's going to walk through there. But yeah, it was, Vinnie Paul, and I saw him, and I didn't want to go run up to him, and, hey, man, big fan, do that whole bullshit, because it hadn't been too long before that, Dimebag had got shot. And I figured the guy would be kind of gun-shy, so I just kind of nodded at him and walked past him, and Buffy runs up behind me with her hand stretched out and shook his hand and,
Never said a word.
And never really said a word. All he said was right on, and, that was that. But it was just really cool.
I had the opportunity to meet Dimebag a few times.
Left
I hang out with him. He's a really great guy.
Oh, Kristen wants me to ask you what the boys in Pantera did to you on your birthday.
Okay. We were on tour. Was it the Death tour we were doing with Death? I think possibly it was, or Overkill, I don't remember. But we were playing in Dallas, and the guys in Pantera were there at the show hanging out. It was my birthday. And unbeknownst to me, all the guys got together and got this plan to nail me on stage with pies. What they did was they went out and bought pie crust, filled them with whipped cream and pudding and all kinds of stuff, and let it sit out in the sun and bake all day to where it was just putrid. And on set, Bill and Dimebag, Rex, all those guys, going out and say, please me with pies. I mean, all over my jacket, everything, just covered me in pies. And unfortunately, that night after the show, we had to drive through, our next night was in Florida, so we couldn't stay. I didn't get a shower, nothing. I didn't get a shower for 2 days. The hell, pies shit all over me and stuff. Yeah. That was the first time I met Pantera.
Wow.
People would die to say that Dimebag threw a pie in their face.
Wouldn't they?
I
I
swear.
think there might even be a video of that somewhere. I don't know.
Lucy
But if you ever
video.
talk to Phil, I'm sure he'll remember that.
Now, Kristen says she's going to get her ass chewed over when this is all over.
Yes, she probably will. She probably will. Tell her to expect a phone call.
Oh, she's listening.
No, that's good.
Might want to have phone problems, Kristen, just saying. Just putting that out there for you. Well, Mike...
I owe a lot to Kristen, actually. She, after, with Dark Angel and everything, after Dark Angel folded, which is another story in itself, but after Dark Angel folded, I kind of got out of the music scene for a long time. I had responsibilities. At the time, my mom had passed away, and I mean, when I was playing Dark Angel, I always had my parents' support. I think me and you had talked about that earlier.
Right.
Before we were on the air. And, I always had my mom's support. And playing in a band and touring and stuff, you don't make money at it. And it's hard to hold a job when you've got to leave for 3 months at a time. Not too many employers want to do that for you,
Mm-hmm.
So I always had my parents' support to help me to do these things. And after my mom passed away, which was shortly after Dark Angel was sold, I had to get a real job and be responsible, and all the things that we do as adults. And, anyways, make a long story short, jump ahead, 15, 16 years later, I meet Kristen. We happen to meet at some on the internet. You know, we were talking, and she was telling me she used to run, she was running a internet radio station. I don't remember the name, but she was a DJ on there. And she, and I told her I used to put a dark angle and stuff, and I did an interview with her. And, we stayed in contact, and I ended up meeting, I was living in LA, she was living in New Mexico. I ended up flying out and meeting her in person, and we ended up getting together. So anyways, I moved in with her in New Mexico, and she was pushing me to get back into music.
Wow.
The whole time she said, you got to do this again. You had something really good going. You were, moderately successful at what you did before. You can't just let something like that go. And she pushed me back into it. So I got to thank her for getting me back to where I am right now.
It's a strange story. You two met on the internet. Very similar with me and Buffy.
Yeah, we did. We met on the internet.
It's wild, because we consider ourselves, e-harmonizing before e-harmony came about.
Yeah, no, see, when we met on the internet, it wasn't through a dating site. I think it was actually at a game site with chat rooms, and we just started talking one day in there, and just kind of grew.
She was a DJ on another station, and we had a DJ that was playing our music, and he ended up having to go to rehab for being an alcoholic. And she took over the account, and it was like me and her spoke for like a year.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't looking for anybody. She wasn't looking for anybody. We were both, divorced. And a year later, we just said, we gave in, said, okay, we've been liking each other for a long time and been, denying it. I flew her out to, out here to Louisiana, and, here we are now.
Yeah. Yeah, it can be a really good thing. Just another example of it is like with Facebook nowadays. I'm in contact with so many friends that there's no way in a million years I would have ever found.
Mm-hmm.
People I went to elementary school with, I'm friends with now. You don't know what's going on in their lives and everything. It's really a great thing. It's long anyways. It's a pretty scary thing too, but yeah, it's really good. It's just like in person. We talked for a good year before we ended up meeting in person.
Yep, and it's scary at times because you hear horror stories about people meeting on the internet, and you kind of worry.
Oh yeah,
but
yeah, for sure.
It's nice when it works, and you talk to someone for about a year via the net, you switch out phone numbers and talk.
You know them in a different way than you would just meeting them in some bar or some
exactly.
If you're talking with somebody for a while on the internet, you kind of get to know them in a different, intimate way. I don't know how to explain it. You kind of get to know them from the inside out.
Exactly.
Instead of just going by appearance when you first meet somebody, you get to really know the person. That's a gift. It's a healthy thing. It's a healthy relationship or a healthy connection that you're making with a person.
Yep, and you're able to find so much stuff that you have in common.
Oh yeah.
Beforehand and before you actually meet in person, and I don't know. Like I said, it worked for me and my wife, and we got married, and here we are. Like I said, nearly 9 years later. Well,
congratulations. That's good.
10 years later now, because that was back in 2003 when we first met. Wow, time flies.
I don't think I could. I've never been married, and I don't think I ever could. It's going a little too far for me, but I'm perfectly happy living in sin.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with living in sin.
Yeah, sure.
Now I wanted to ask you, with you kind of brought it up with Facebook and social media now. Do you really see a need to have major label support? I mean, you guys are doing everything yourselves with the new album, and with the way social media and the digital age is, bands can do everything DIY. You can put your own tunes up, on Amazon and iTunes and what have you, and do your own promotions. Do you really see a need for major labels anymore?
Yes, I still do. There's definitely a need for labels. But the whole music scene, the whole landscape of the music scene is completely changed. I don't think anybody saw this coming the way things are now with the digital age. And it's great for bands like us. We can make the album, we can put it out and do everything on our own, you know, a total grassroots thing here. But and we're doing it, and it seems to be working out pretty well for us. But there's also, on the other side, when you've got a label pushing you, you've got somebody who's cutting your promotion, handling up with businesses, like, or handling the whole business end of it for you, which is a major headache, let me tell you. And, you know, you're doing things like tour support, and your album's getting released all over the world at once. You're seeing ads for it everywhere, you know, that comes under the promotion thing there, and that helps a lot, too. But what I think is, I think the major labels, well, all labels for that matter, need to find a new way to market bands, and I don't mean to sweet downloads and things like that, because I think that's important too. It's a fantastic way to promote your band. I think they just need to find a new way to market bands. You know, they need to branch out to different territories. Or it's just really a weird thing. It's just like I said, with this digital age, nobody saw this coming, that music was going to go this way.
Right.
Or the whole business industry was going to go this way. So I think the labels need to be more, I don't know, push the envelope more and start finding out new ways that they can sell their band. Because what it all comes down to is it's a business. I mean, when you sign a deal with a label, it's basically like getting a bank loan. They're going to put out some money for you, but every dime they give you is recoupable. And you've got to pay back every penny of it. And if you're not a successful band, you owe money. And that's where it comes in, where you can get a label to push you and promote you, because they want you to sell records so they can make their money back.
Right.
And, you know, like I said, it's a double-edged sword. But I think we still do need labels.
See, that was one of the things I was looking at, because with the way everything is now, you know, and again, this goes back to the, you know, digital age, and bands really being able to do a lot on their own. And, you know, promotions, a lot of bands, I noticed this back, you know, when MySpace was real big, was a lot of people were making these street teams and having street teams do all the promotion for them. But, you know, most, especially young bands that don't have major support, could really go and, you know, get a loan and probably even get a better, you know, percentage rate than going through a label.
Well, yeah, yes and no, it all depends. I mean, depends on the person. I mean, getting a loan out to invest in your band is a really big risk. You know, everybody does it. We've done it. Everyone, you know, but it's still a really big risk. I don't know what to say to that. It's you know, I would be happy being on a label pushing me, but I wouldn't be happy about not getting paid for it. I'm happy now not being on a label and doing this on our own. And if we don't get paid for it, at least we know that this is our own effort. We're doing this grassroots. We're doing it because we love it. If we don't make the money back that we've put into it, that's fine. You know?
Now, Kristen brought up, you know, like the whole crap with Slayer right now and Dave Lombardo. And I'm sure you've heard about that, right?
Yeah, I've heard about it.
You know, it kind of sucks. I read Dave Lombardo's statement the other day about, you know, having the meeting with the guys and instantly getting replaced, and all they're getting is 10%. And, you know, anytime they go to a show and put on a concert, it sells out. Everybody loves Slayer. Everybody, you know, their merch, their CDs. I mean, 10% of their gross is really a drop in the bucket.
I agree. You know, I'm sure there's two sides to that whole story. I really don't want to take a side on it because it's not my business. I mean, I understand how everyone with the way the internet is, how everyone can voice their opinion and say what they want to say about bands, but that's something that I really don't have too much to say about because I don't know the full story.
True. There's always two sides of it.
I can't really comment on that.
But, you know, I am
aware of what's going on, and I think Dave Lombardo belongs in Slayer. That's where we all know him from. And, I don't know. I hope they work it out.
I do too, because, you know, I mean, they've already lost Jeff. And it'd be sad to only have two of the original members in Slayer. I don't know. But
yeah, that's kind of I mean, they're always following somebody to go out and play.
Yeah.
You know, it's a shame, but it happened. I guess when you've been playing together for 30 years, there's bound to be problems, and some problems just can't be solved because I don't know. I don't know. I'm not in this situation, and I'm sure I'd want to be. Sure, I'd gladly take their situation, but yeah, like I said, I can't really comment on it. I don't want to take a side on it because I don't know the full story behind it.
I understand fully. I'm not taking a side on it either because, like you, I don't know both sides of the story, but I read that about what Dave posted up the other day, and I was just like astounded.
Yeah, but it's another thing going back to the internet right there. A lot of these bands, Dirty Laundry gets aired on the internet, and that's one of the bad things about it. You know, like the Bill Ward thing in Black Sabbath.
Mm-hmm.
Now we got the Dave Lombardo and Slayer. I mean, some of that stuff needs to be kept under wraps. I don't think that should be put out there to be decided in public for everyone else to, you know, I don't know, to try to influence on what's going on, or, you know, because, I don't know, is it going to hurt the band? Somebody say, wow, man, they're not paying Dave. I'm not going to go see that band anymore. You know, I think Kendrick screwed up, and I won't give him my money anymore. You know, that's wrong. I think some things need to be kept under wraps. It's internal business. It should be kept just like that, internal.
Well,
you know?
let's move away from that subject and get back on some Viking.
Okay.
Now, what's the title of the album gonna be?
The new album's going to be called No Child Left Behind.
No Child Left Behind.
Uh-huh. And I don't know if you remember back in the Reagan era with Nancy Reagan.
Mm-hmm.
And she had one of her causes was No Child Left Behind, which had something to do with, like, literacy in schools and everything. And she started that, and it kind of ties in with, because, like with Viking right now, it's been, 20 years since this band has released an album or was even active. And me and Ron, we have this in common, the fact that we both kind of dropped out of the music scene for a long time. We're both now getting back into it, and we feel like we're picking up right where we left off. You know, the music he's written for this is just like, it's, I don't want to say it's a throwback to the 80s, but it's exactly what the next Viking record should have sounded like, or what you would expect for the next Viking record after Out of Straw. And it just fits right in. So, you know, I don't think anyone's going to be able to accuse the band of saying, oh yeah, you guys have gone soft, or you guys have gone in the wrong direction with music, because it's had good stuff, I'll tell you that right now.
Well, I'll tell you what, too, when the album does drop, and I got my greedy little paws on it, I'm going to do a review on it for you guys, too.
Fantastic. And we've also got a double CD that's about to drop. It's a Do or Die and Man of Straw combo CD. It's going to be called what is it? I forgot what the title of it was. He just told me, and it's escaping me right now. But it's a double CD with Do or Die and Man of Straw. I think it's Man versus Straw, or Straw, Metal versus Straw.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to kill me for not remembering this, but that should be out. I want to say it's going to be out within the next week or two.
Oh.
That will also be available at our merch store and everywhere else. And it's going to be a limited edition also. So, that will also have a list at our shows, our upcoming shows.
Right on. I'll tell you what, though, man, talking about shows, I hope beyond hope that you guys come through New Orleans, because
we're working on it. We're trying to get everywhere we possibly can.
I will bring the crowd.
Yeah. That would be great. Like I said, there's a real possibility. I can't promise you anything yet or give you anything concrete, but we are working on it.
Well, Mike, I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and take a break. I didn't realize we're an hour and a half into the interview.
Wow.
It goes fast, don't it?
Yeah, it sure does.
Let's go ahead and play some more tunes.
Okay.
And let's see, we'll go ahead and play By the Brundlefly.
Okay.
Go ahead and
this
do...
song here, By the Brundlefly, it's off our new album. And it's not available for streaming. We don't have it up on YouTube or anywhere else. And this will probably be the only place you can hear it. So keep your recorders off and enjoy it.
Yeah, no recorders out there, people. But we're going to play By the Brundlefly, then we'll play Do or Die, Man of Straw, and we'll go ahead and play White Death. Actually, no, we'll just do three. By the Brundlefly, Do or Die, and Man of Straw. and then
Okay.
I'll play White Death after the interview.
All right, great.
All right, metalheads out there, this is the Bullshit with Bob show right here on Brutiful Metal Radio, and we are talking to bassist extraordinaire Mike Gonzalez from Viking. So stick around, people. We got some tunes coming up right now. Here comes your eargasm. Alrighty. And we are back live, metalheads. You just listened to By the Brundle Fly, which you will only hear either here or live. You listened to Do or Die and Man of Straw. Welcome back to the show. This is the Bullshit with Bob show right here on Brutiful Metal Radio. And we have Mike Gonzalez, bassist for Viking, via phone, live with us. And welcome back to the show, Mike.
Thanks for having me back. You know what? While we were on that break, I forgot to take a piss, and now I need to.
Well, I don't want you having to do the pee-pee dance too much. Let's see. Oh, something I wanted to ask you about. This is something we started touching on prior to going live the first time. You know, we were discussing our mutual hatred of all the new labels that, you know, bands have nowadays, all the different labels of metal. It drives me nuts hearing, you know, all this, oh, we're slam, grind, crunk, punk, core, polka. You know, it just...
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, it just drives me insane.
Yeah, I don't get it either. I mean, if you like heavy music, just put it all under one umbrella. You don't have to like every band just because, you know, one band is different than the other. You know, they have a different style. If you like heavy music, just call it metal and leave it at that. You know, I totally agree with you. I don't like all the different labels. You know, I mean, it's dividing up the whole metal community in a sense. You know, you've got some guys that, you know, oh yeah, I only listen to grindcore, I only listen to black metal or whatever, Norwegian black metal, and they won't listen to other bands, which is really kind of sad because there's a whole lot of good music out there. It doesn't necessarily have to be put under a label to like it, you know? It's not a good thing. I don't know if you're familiar with that series they had on recently on VH1, what is it, Metal Evolution, and they've got all these, they've got everything divided into different categories and subcategories and everything.
Right.
I mean, all these bands, they still have the same basic roots. It's a love for heavy music. It's what it's all about. You don't need to label it just so you can fit in with a certain group of people, you know? I just think it's wrong.
But, you know, it really...
Like I listen to everything. But I don't listen to country other than that. I listen to all kinds of from metal to hard rock to thrash, death metal, whatever, you name it. And I like them all. You know, I don't like some of the looks that these bands have. You know, like with, let me see, for example, Black Veil Brides. I like their music. I don't like the way they look.
Mm-hmm.
Death metal, I still, or black metal, I should say, I don't get the makeup thing. It escapes me. You know, but some of the music is heavy as fuck. You know, you can't help but not like the music. You know, it's but to label everything constantly, it's just, like I said before, it's just wrong. I think people just need to, you like heavy music, like it. And don't dislike somebody else because they like a different type of heavy music. You know, we're all trying to do the same thing. We're all trying to have a good time. We're all trying to get off on music, you know, on the things that we enjoy. So that means you need to put down somebody else for not liking the same music as you, or, you know, labeling somebody that, oh, he's emo, he's whatever. You know, it's okay, it's heavy and it's good. Enjoy it.
You know, I always tell people, I'm a metalhead. I listen to metal. And if you look at any of these subgenres, you know, you got black metal, death metal, doom metal. It's all metal at the end of it.
Exactly.
You know, how are you going to say one...
Let's stop the pretext label and just call it metal.
Exactly. It's like a picture I seen on Facebook a while back. There's like this old man, and it says, back in my day, there was only one kind of metal, and it was called metal. And that's the way I look at it, you know. It's all metal.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I bleed mercury. I piss lead and shit steel. You know,
I kind of wish I had said that.
that's the way it is. You know, I'm a metalhead. I live it. I breathe it, and you know, there's too many bands and too many people out there trying to be different and call themselves something different. You know, it's like almost like the new cliche is I'm gonna be different, but you know, the music will still sound like, you know, thrash or whatever, but we're gonna call it something else. You know, and
Yeah.
it's, I don't know, it's almost like some kind of plastic posturing almost. And I don't get some of these band names nowadays.
Like it's cool. We're cool because we're in this new genre of metal, and you gotta be the first kid on the block to like it, so you're cooler than everybody else. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
If that makes any sense. It's just not necessary. You know, like what you like. Don't put down other people for liking what they like. And if it's all heavy music, just leave it under one umbrella. Enjoy it for what it is.
That's it. And, you know, I've noticed, you know, I was telling you this prior to the show, that a lot of these young bands that I bring on here, I've noticed that they pick a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and eventually I think it'll come full circle that it will be under one umbrella again, because a lot of these guys are starting to make what they call blackened metal, which like they're mixing black metal and death metal, and they'll have doom riffs in it, and they'll have, you know, these groove thrash riffs in it, and it's sounding more and more like metal. You know, just one type of metal.
Yeah.
And
You know,
I look forward to that day.
yeah, and when you think about it, like, there's a lot of these bands, how can I give you as an example? Okay, I'm not saying I like this band, I'm not saying I dislike them, but I'm just using them as an example. Say Five Finger Death Punch.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, in the press, I don't know if you read Blabbermouth or anything, but whenever there's a news post about Five Finger Death Punch, you immediately get all these haters bagging on saying this is pop metal, corporate metal, whatever. But when you think about it, you listen to their music, that shit's heavy as fuck compared to what you were hearing 30 years ago that was considered heavy music.
Exactly.
The values on everything, it's fucking heavy. 30 years ago, if you heard that, you think, oh my god, this is the most amazing thing I've ever heard. You know, some people are just getting too spoiled with their, I don't know, with their pure metal roots, you know, and it's just, I don't get it, you know?
Well,
bands are good.
Well,
Whether you like it or not, you can appreciate what they're doing because they're doing something that's heavy, and it's not Justin Bieber, it's fucking heavy music.
One thing that Five Finger Death Punch does do is they will write one or two songs specifically for the radio. You know, they still cater to the radio, which a lot of bands don't do anymore. But you listen to the rest of the album, it is heavy as hell.
Yeah, they do. They write these songs that I agree with you. And they do write these songs that are catered to the radio, but when you think about it, that's still going to be the heaviest song you're going to hear on the radio compared to, I don't know, Buck Cherry or Nickelback.
Exactly.
You know? And I don't understand why people have to hate on these bands so much, because they go out and they write a few songs that are going to have a hook and get people a wider audience to enjoy them. Now, there's also bad examples of that, too, when you think about it. You know, like Metallica.
Yeah.
It's a real touchy subject for some people, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I love their first three albums. Their first three albums are absolutely amazing. I stopped listening to them with Injustice for All. And for me, from that point on, they just started going downhill. They started going more corporate rock, more radio-friendly.
Yeah.
In fact, I can remember seeing interviews and things like that with Lars saying that, you know, we're never going to make a video for MTV. That's not us. We're going our own direction. Look at it now.
You know, and it's funny you bring this up. I had this this discussion with an Irish band last week, or 2 weeks ago, excuse me, and they were saying how they love Metallica from the Black Album on. And I'm like, dude, you know, to me, the last good album Metallica did was Injustice. They still had some of Cliff's writing in it.
Yeah. No, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm not saying that I dislike them from that point on. They just, production value on Injustice for All, I thought, in my personal opinion, was horrible. I mean, I was the money they had behind everything. I thought they could have come up with a better sounding album. Well, on the fact that there's no bass on it, maybe that's why I'm biased again. I don't know. But, yeah, I just, I mean, that also comes back there in a certain way. I mean, they started writing to sell more albums to get a wider audience, which is understandable. I mean, because, I mean, when you get to a certain point in your career, everything just has to keep growing. The record label's pushing you to do these things to keep growing. It's a constant thing, and it's really important that you do that. And the direction they did, I mean, it's great that everyone on earth knows the name Metallica. Yeah, I mean, it's, like I said, I don't really care for their music after Master of the Puppets, but what they did was good for them. Now, in my opinion, what I think they should do, they should go back to writing another Master of the Puppets, something heavy again. Try to get back to their roots. You know, and that's kind of weird because a lot of these bands, as they progress in their careers, they start pushing the envelope and wanting to explore new territories for their music. And, you know, sometimes they need a lot of fans. I know Rush did that. Numerous bands have done it. But I think a lot of these bands, even like Iron Maiden, for example, they should try and go back and write another Number of the Beast album. Something like that. You know,
right.
Go back to the roots and just make everyone happy again. You know, I mean, they've already made their success. They got their millions of dollars. They don't need to keep pushing, and, you know, to wider audience. I think their audiences are as wide as ever going to get. Then go back and do something heavy again, you know? Go back to your roots.
I remember seeing, I watched a little short interview with Lars. I think it was last week. In fact, it was on Metal Evolution. The guy was doing, you know, like the history of thrash, and they were talking to Lars, and Lars had made a comment about, well, you know, after we did Master and Injustice, what were we going to do? Another Injustice album? We had to go a different direction. And my thought was always, because, you know, I totally bought into their thing back in the day. I bought Kill 'Em All as an import. And on album, you know, on vinyl. And I bought into their whole, you know, spiel about, you know, we'll never sell out, we'll never, you know, make a video, we'll never seek radio airplay. And I bought into all that. I was big underground guy back then. Well, still am, too. I still love the underground. Best music comes from the underground. It's untouched by corporate fingers. But, you know, then they come out with the Black Album, and I was like, okay, well, maybe this is their, you know, bad album. You know, maybe they'll come back. Then when they come out with that Load and Reload shit, I was like, oh, well, that's it. You know, and it's been downhill.
I don't think I've ever even listened to either one of those albums all the way through. I've probably heard like one or two tracks off of them, just never listened to it again.
But, you know, when I heard Lars say that, where could we have gone? I'm thinking heavier. You know? Well, why don't you try going heavier?
Yeah.
I mean,
why don't you try going in reverse? Let's shift gears and go back to where we started, which got our foot in the door, you know? Let's try that.
yeah.
I'd love to see one of these huge bands do that. I think it'd be the greatest thing ever, and I think it would probably sell millions of records if somebody did that. Just went back to their roots again. Just
Oh, wow.
what everybody, you know, what people like us that are into this type of music would really want them to do. You know? They've already got, like I said, their audiences can't get any wider, and if they go back to their roots, I don't think they're going to alienate anybody. I think they're just going to make a lot of their original hardcore fans real happy.
Yes.
You know, like Metallica, I guess they tried to do that with their Death Magnetic album, and for me, that kind of fell short a little bit. I mean, it's the best thing they put out in a long time, but it's still not Master of Puppets, you know?
Now, I listened to Death Magnetic a couple times, and I tried to give it a chance, because a lot of my friends got into it, oh, Metallica's back, and I listened to it, and to me, for them going, you know, trying to make another album, going back to, you know, according to them, it was going back to where they supposedly came from. It didn't sound like to me. A lot of it was rehashed shit.
Yeah,
I could hear some of the old school riffs in it. You know, like I said, I'm a musician, And I know a lot of Metallica tunes. That was kind of, the par for, playing shows if you're, back in the day, was you had to learn some cover tunes to play along with your originals. And, of course...
Personally, I knew how to play quite a few Metallica covers, so,
But
that was the par for the course.
Death Magnetic, it was just rehashed shit to me. I could hear some of the same, leads that Kirk pulled back in the day. And, some of the same riffing. And it's like, oh, wow. I mean, I know they're more original than that.
Yeah, I think that it's it's a step in the right direction, but it's just a baby step. I think they need to go full swing and really, really break it down and write something heavy.
Right. And there's so many ways they could have went with it too. They could have tuned lower. I mean, there's so many different ways they could have went that to go heavy.
Yeah, I agree.
But they just didn't explore it. They took the money away.
Mhm. And like I said, they don't need to do that anymore. They don't need to go after the money. They've already got it. They can do what they want. And I think they should go back to their heavy roots.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even going to bring up that Lulu album. 10 people maybe heard it. That was a stupid decision.
Yes. Did not know. Kristen said she lived in Prairieville for a while, which is not very far from us here at all. In fact, I was damn near in Prairieville today fishing.
Wow.
Yeah. She said one of her neighbors made her suck the head off of a crawdad. That's what we do here, Kristen. We have a saying: when you go to a crawfish boil, you're going to suck the head and pinch the tail. I love some crawfish too. It's just about season too.
I've only tried it one time when I was in New Orleans, I think, for Mardi Gras. And I don't really remember how they tasted because I was so full of alcohol. Eat anything at that point.
Well, it's I don't know. It's one of our staples down here. We eat a lot of seafood. In fact, it's funny when me and the wife was first starting to talk. She asked me, well, what's your favorite kind of food? And she was expecting like Mexican or Italian, something like that, or Chinese. And I said seafood. And of course, her being from the desert, they don't eat a lot of seafood there. Now, me, oh yeah. Shrimp, oysters, crawfish, crabs. Oh yeah. All day, every day.
Yeah, I'm not a real big seafood eater. I don't know. I don't eat fish. I like shellfish. I like crab, lobster, shrimp. That's about as far as it goes.
Uh-oh, she makes a mean etouffee. In fact, Kristen, yesterday was my nephew's birthday. And my brother's in-laws were there. And they made a crawfish etouffee. And, ooh, was it good.
And Kristen knows all about that kind of stuff. She's a foodie. She is, big time. She watches all her Food Network shows and goes in the kitchen and starts creating all kinds of concoctions and stuff. And because of her, I probably gained 30 pounds. The woman always feeds me.
Well, I always say that's why Buffy married me, because I cook better than she does. I can make a mean gumbo, mean jambalaya. Oh, yeah. Now...
Yeah, well, if we make it down that way, you even have to bring me some gumbo or jambalaya. I'll try that out.
I'll tell you what...
Beans and rice. Beans and rice is another one of my favorites.
Well, when you guys get your dates in the South, concrete, you let us know. I will make a gumbo, and I will bring it to the show.
Awesome. I will definitely let you know. I'm never one to turn down good food.
And I tell you what, Kristen says you don't really care for seafood, just like, you said. What I'll do is I'll make a chicken and sausage gumbo.
Sounds great.
And it'll be awesome.
Fantastic.
Now, I wanted to ask you, I guess we'll go through some of the weird questions now. As a child, what was your favorite cartoon character?
Oh, I don't know. Used to watch Speed Racer a lot. I thought that was really cool. I can't. It's hard to say a favorite cartoon character. I mean, there were certain cartoons that I watched pretty well religiously, like Flintstones and Underdog and things like that. But I can't really say I have a favorite one.
With me, it was Bugs Bunny.
Oh yeah, well of course Bugs Bunny, Roadrunner Rammer.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Pepe Le Pew and Yosemite Sam. Oh yeah.
Bugs Bunny was he was always just such a dick. You know, he would screw people over and start munching on his carrot and be like, "Yeah, what's up, Doc? You know, what you gonna do?" And
Exactly.
he never got his, and I always dug, Bugs Bunny because he was such an ass and just get away with it. But, some of them, I don't know, pretty much any of the Looney Tunes was my favorites because...
Oh, yeah.
It was
I think that was everybody's favorite if you grew up back then, Looney Tunes. Nowadays, these kids have these cartoons, oh my god, I can't even watch them. They're just annoying. I can't really name them because I don't watch them, but it's just not the same anymore. They're not entertaining in the same way. They always have these rude, arrogant kids, or characters on these cartoons. It's just, I don't get it.
Oh, Outcast just said it. Hong Kong fucking phooey.
There you go. Yeah, that was a good one.
Yes, it was.
El Kabong. Quick Draw McGraw and El Kabong.
Yep. And, I mean, back in the day, it was, not cartoon characters, but, I mean, growing up, Three Stooges, The Little Rascals.
Little Rascals, Dark Game Comedies,
Mighty Mouse. That was always a cool one.
And there was also that old sitcoms like Gilligan's Island and Love American Style and all that stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember all those. Showing my age here.
Hey, I am too, man. Well, okay, let's go ahead and take some more questions from the chat room and see what they got up their sleeve.
Okay.
Let's see, you got people throwing up Tom and Jerry, Captain Caveman, Roadrunner.
Yeah.
Tom and Jerry is always good ones too. Do you remember Heckle and Jekyll?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was a great cartoon also. Heckle and Jekyll and what other cartoon was titled with that? I think was that part of like the Rocky and Bullwinkle show? Heckle and Jekyll, is that where it started from?
I think it did. I think it was originally on Rocky and Bullwinkle show.
Yeah, and then there was also another like W Do Right and Penelope Pit Stop, which was always tied to the railroad tracks by Dick Dastardly, and W Do Right would have to come and save her. Yeah, I watched all those cartoons.
Let's see. We might be having a little bit of a lag, waiting to see if anybody pops some more questions up. I meant to ask you, what kind of basses do you use?
Well, I used to use Jackson's, and then I got a deal with ESP, and I was using those exclusively. And now I'm using plain old Fender P basses, standard precision basses.
Man, I tell you.
I've always liked P basses anyways. It's that body style and everything. It's just comfortable to me. I like the way they look. I like the way they feel. And I also like my tuners. My tuning keys to be in line. I don't like them, two on the top, three on bottom, or whatever. I like my tuning keys in line for some reason. It's
Now,
one of my idiosyncrasies, I guess.
did you change the pickup in it, or are you using standard pickups?
I'm actually just using standard pickups now. Let's see. I take that back. I've got two key basses here with me now. One of them has a standard pickup in it. It's called a grease bucket pickup.
Mm-hmm.
And I always have my tone settings on max, but I'm setting on max anyways. And I get a great tone with that one. And on my other P bass, I have a Duncan design pickup in it, and that gets a really bright, ringy tone. And that's about it.
Now, in Buffy's bass, I replaced her pickup. I put a Seymour Duncan bass line in it.
Uh-huh.
And man, that thing is thick.
What kind of bass is it?
Oh, hers is a old Washburn knockoff. I don't remember the make of it. I'm sure she can. She'll come in here in a minute and tell me, because I think she's in the room with Deanna right now, watching what's going on and listening. But it's a strange looking bass. It has S cuts in it all the way through the body.
You mean like in a violin or viola type S cuts?
It's got S cuts like that, but it's a solid body.
Okay, what's it just like? I want to say cutouts or.
Yeah, it's a cutout, but it's more. It goes all the way through, and
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it's more for looks. It doesn't really serve any purpose. But it's a Washburn knockoff. But it sounds great. I mean, we call it the Bone Rattler.
Wow.
I
used to use like active pickups and EMGs in my basement, especially when I had my ESP guitars. But I've gone back to using passive pickups because when I use active pickups, they just put out such a hot signal, and I always used to have to like argue with the salmon and you're overdriving everything. You've got to pull that back, or we got to pull the DI from you and just mic the thing because we're not able to get the right mix with it. And I personally prefer to use a direct box when I'm playing live instead of having a microphone. I think, and with a passive pickups and using a direct box, the signal is just where it needs to be. It's not too hot, it's not too weak. It works really well for me. But that's just a personal preference. Yeah.
Now, Kristen is wanting me to ask you about Spinal Tap moments.
Spinal Tap moments? I don't know. I've never had a Spinal Tap moment. Didn't I give her one about, I already said the story about Ron telling people he was an asshole and he wrote up on a watermelon. Spinal Tap moments. I don't know about that. I've got some other kind of weird stories about Dark Angel. I don't know if this would be considered a Spinal Tap moment, but back in the early days when we go out on tour, we'd have like an equipment band and then a band that everybody else was riding in. Mm-hmm. And you get bored because it's been a lot of miles on the road, and we were always doing our own driving and everything. And I was riding in our equipment van one time. I forgot who was driving, and I had to piss really bad, and he wouldn't pull over so I could piss. It wouldn't make me stop. So I ended up pissing in this plastic baggie. We had a sandwich there or something at one time. I pissed in this plastic baggie. And I got the idea, fuck it, I'm going to throw it at the other van that everyone else was riding in. And we were, I don't know, somewhere on the East Coast, it was really cold, and I chucked it out the window, and I hit the window of the other van and instantly froze on the windshield. I didn't know that urine could freeze, but apparently it does. And having to pull over because it froze the windshield wipers, everything. So that became a thing with our band, throwing urine bombs at each other whenever we were driving down the road. And the way it ended was another time when I was driving the equipment van and Gene was riding in the other van or RV or whatever we had. Gene decided to throw a urine bomb at me, and I was not expecting it, and I had my window down. Needless to say, I got soaked in Gene's piss, and that pretty much ended our whole urine bomb thing. It was a lot of fun. We used to do a lot of things like that.
Now, we got some other questions coming up, and yes, Buddy Cat, I've seen the questions. I'm just waiting for my chance. Outcast wants to know, who is the most famous musician that you've ever jammed with?
I've ever jammed with?
Uh-huh.
Probably Gene Hoglan.
Gene is a beast, man.
Yeah, he's a monster. And he's a really great guy, too.
I mean, how many projects is he in,
Oh, hell, I don't know. I think he plays with every band out there.
Yeah, it's like...
I think the bigger question would be, which band is he not in?
Exactly. I love what he does with Death Clock.
Did you?
I said, I love what he does with...
He's a fantastic player.
The dude is awesome. Now, let's see. He wants to know if you prefer old school metal or new school metal.
You know what? Let's say old school. That's kind of weird to me. We call something old school. I don't know. It kind of goes to. It's a rap related term, if you ask me. I call it more like classic metal or classic fast. Mm-hmm. I like the stuff, the early stuff from the 80s and early 90s, because that was all pioneering music, and it was heavy, and it was a new thing back then, and people were experimenting and coming up with some really cool shit. But, having said that stuff from back then, I still haven't been able to find it out, but it has a fantastic production on it. too. I mean, I love the old stuff for what it was and what was going on. I can really appreciate it. But then on the other side, new music, the production values and everything on it are just as amazing. I don't know. There's a lot of bands out that are rehashing the old stuff, that we were doing 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
They're just putting their own twist on it. Some of it's good, some of it's not. I don't really want to name names. I don't want to call it any bands, but I don't know. It's really a tough call. If I had to choose between the two, I'm gonna say I like the old stuff, but if the old stuff has the production it has now, the new stuff has now, it would be old stuff all the way. But I'm gonna kind of lean towards newer music.
Let's see. He had another question. I'm trying to get back to it. He wants to know, Outcast wants to know, what was the biggest crowd you have played for? And when it was that big, do you ever get nervous or does the adrenaline kick in?
Biggest crowd I ever played for? The Dark Angel. We never got on any of those big European festivals, although we always wanted to. We never quite got that far. So I want to say the biggest show I've ever played were probably at London's Hammersmith Odeon.
Wow.
And that was sold out, or looked sold out anyway. And we filmed a video that night. It's called Three-Way Thrash. It's out there. It's available on YouTube. We're playing clips of it and everything. And we've been on the road. I think we've been playing, by the time we filmed that video, we had been playing on tour for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, so we weren't really nervous or jittery about it, because at that point we were so tight, and it was a gig. It was a big one. But yeah, that's probably the biggest show, and as far as nerves go, at that point we were pretty comfortable with what we were doing. I mean, you always get the nerves flowing a little bit before any show. I don't care who you are, it's going to happen. You get a few butterflies, but yeah, it wasn't that big of a deal.
I don't know. My view, something should be wrong. It don't matter if you're playing for 10,000 people or 10 people. Usually I always get nervous right before I go on. And
yeah. Well, I guess I haven't played a live show in a long time. Like, I haven't. So I played local shows around my hometown, but they're just small clubs. Everything of those I don't get nervous about. But like we've got these shows coming up, and I'm sure I have a few butterflies to close that for the first show, but they're usually gone within 10 seconds of hitting the stage anyways. It just goes away. It's that hurry up and wait thing. I'm sure everybody experiences that.
now, going back to the chat room's rolling, let's see. Outcast wants to know if you have ever had an orgasm on stage where the show was that good, where it was better than sex.
No, I don't think I ever quite split in my pants. Not when I was playing, anyways. And what was the second part of the question?
He said, if you ever had an orgasm on stage where the show was just that good.
You've had a few of those shows, yeah. I mean, you're a player yourself. You know when you're having a good night, and you're really feeling it. You're connecting with the people you're playing for. Yeah, it's happened several times. I mean, that's what it's all about. I think that's why we do this. To make that connection and just have that feeling. That's what it's all about. I've definitely had that. Wouldn't say I've actually, like I said, haven't split in my pants actually, but came close.
Outcast asked if you spewed on the crowd.
Crazy.
Wow, that had me spit up a lung on that one. Let's see. Slightly lubricated. Alrighty then. What was the most gnarliest pit that you've witnessed ever?
You mean at my own show or at another show of somebody else?
At one of your shows.
I want to say when we played with Slayer at the Hollywood Palladium. There's maybe 5 different pits going on throughout the whole building, and I don't mean just little pits where it's 5 or 6 guys running into each other. I'm talking pits with 200 people in each of them, just going insane.
Now, Outcast is asking about a golden shower.
What's with Outcast?
Oh, he's the only one tonight.
We're talking to the bassist of Viking / Dark Angel, not Gwar. He don't have the codfish of Cthulhu spraying everybody. I went to.
Seriously, I still gotta do that. I'm still holding it, by the way.
The first time I went to a Gwar show, wasn't too far back from the from the front, and Odorous started spraying the crowd with the codfish, and man, I got it right in the mouth.
Oh,
Talk about make you feel like a bitch. That would do it.
was it an actual fish too?
Oh no, that's what he calls it. He's got a big phallus he wears. It's like a big fake cock, and he calls it the codfish of Cthulhu. And it's just like any of the props, man. He sprayed me right in the mouth with it, and I went home. Of course, I was covered in the fake blood and all that shit too, but yeah, I got sprayed. It was nasty. No, I didn't say cockfish, I said codfish. It's a big fake cock that he sprays people.
I need to be reading this.
It's fake.
Hey, listen, Bob, we're gonna have to call this pretty soon because I'm getting to the point where I am doing the pee-pee dance.
Oh, that's no problem.
Okay?
That's no problem at all. Go ahead and we'll wrap her up now then. Of course, you guys have a Facebook page.
Mm-hmm. Actually, we're doing really good on Facebook. We're almost at 20,000 likes.
Wow, congratulations.
Well, thank you. That's like the social media of all social media.
It is. Now, do you guys have, I'm sure you guys have a .com, right?
Yes, we do. It is VikingThrashMetal.com.
Well, here we go.
That's our own webpage.
I got Vixen throwing up the links for me now.
Yep, and you can find any link for anything Viking related from that page.
I'll go ahead and put this out there for those that aren't in the chat room. You can find them on Facebook at www.facebook.com/VikingBand. You can also go to www.VikingThrashMetal.com, which would be their main page. And she also threw up the shop.VikingThrashMetal.com. Outcast wanted me to tell you, Mike, that you rule.
Thanks, man.
And Kristen said that they got new tour dates up. And yes, Vixen is throwing the fastball. She is.
Wow, we have new tour dates up? Cool, I didn't see them yet. I guess what's happening while we were on the phone here.
Yeah, I believe...
I told you we were booking. I told you we were in the middle of booking more dates, so that's great.
I believe Ron went and put new dates up while we were talking.
Oh, cool.
The
I guess
chat
I'll have
room
to talk
is
to him when I get
really
off the phone
full.
and find out where I'm playing.
But, I want to take the time right now to thank everyone that came in for the interview. Of course, Buddy Cat, it's always a blast when you're in the chat. Let's see, Ron, Kristen, Rusty, Outcast, Sam. Thank all of y'all for being in the chat room and talking with us.
Yeah, thank you guys. I really appreciate it too.
And
I know it may be boring a little bit, but it's nice to know that people are interested in what's being said.
well, it's amazing. You would think people would get bored with a couple guys just bullshitting, but they love it.
This is really an appropriate name for your show there. Bullshitting with Bob. That's pretty cool.
Right on, I appreciate it. But, it gives a chance for people to get to meet you and know you in a way outside of a typical interview. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's great. This has been really easy. Real comfortable.
Now, all you listeners out there that are not tuned in the chat room, thank you all for tuning in. Sure do appreciate it. Now, I've got one more Viking song. White Death, we're going to play next. And then after that, I've got plenty more metal. It's going to be playing all night long, so metalheads, stay tuned. This is the Bullshit with Bob show right here on Brutiful Metal Radio. We've been talking with Mike Gonzalez, formerly of Dark Angel, currently of Viking. And they are about to drop a CD at the end of April, early May. And we'll be going on tour starting next week, so make sure to make it out to the show. Go check their websites, check out the tour dates.
And buy that merch.
And buy that merch. Remember, support the band. Buy the CDs, buy the merch.
And I don't mean just buy it from every band you see. Help every band out, because that's what keeps them out there. That's how they cover their costs to go out and play these shows and do these things. That's where it all comes from.
It's all about support.
Yes, sir.
Now, I want to thank all y'all again for tuning in. And here we go with White Death. And
I just want to say all these songs we're using playing tonight will be in our live set. So if you heard something you like, and you're in the area where we're playing, come on out and hang with us and have a good time. Hopefully you'll enjoy it.
right on.
And personally, I want to thank everybody for coming out here, or for listening to tonight. It means a lot to me. I really do appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
And Mike, thank you so much for being on the show. We really do appreciate it.
Oh, that's no problem. It's been my pleasure.
Now, hang on the phone just for a sec. I'm going to get this song playing. And see you back after a while, metalheads.